And thirdly, this is the last video about the reasons why women are unfit. Another trap for women is that she thinks she's unfit or overweight because she's constantly comparing herself. Now with her past self when she was young, like when she was 20, 18, 16 years old, it doesn't matter, right? But back then, she had a completely different life. Wouldn't you agree, guys? She didn't have that kind of workload. She didn't have kids. She didn't have sleepless nights. If she had a job or was studying, it was something lighter. She didn't have a partner she needed to entertain. And overall, there was much less pressure. She enjoyed significantly more freedom back then. She slept much better simply because she was young, and she engaged in far more everyday physical activity because she moved around so much more. She would often go out to dance somewhere, walk to various places, right? And she naturally possessed more muscle mass, simply because she was in the prime of her youth. The thing is, muscle mass gradually decreases every year, starting from age 25 to 30. It's inevitable if you don't work on it. And so a woman compares herself to how she used to be, and now she thinks, my God, what has happened to me now? She remembers how she used to be and tries to strive for that, and this only makes her feel worse, because back then, for example, she could lose weight very easily. She could just drink some water, do a 3-day fast, and she would already drop a couple of kilos and look great. But now, none of that works anymore. And why is that? Because she has significantly less muscle mass now, and her body and shape are completely different now. That's the point. And there's another myth that really holds all women back. It keeps them stuck in the same position. The myth that a woman should be skinny and fragile. Women look at models, remember themselves as children or teenagers, and say, that's how I should be. And when they look at models, for example, Victoria's Secret, it seems like these girls just don't eat anything at all. And of course, you can't see any muscle mass on them. That's why women are constantly starving themselves. They freeze themselves at a certain weight, a very low weight. And in this state, that's when the body becomes weak. That's when the body goes into an energy-saving mode without muscle mass, because muscle mass is lost even more, and it simply can't function anymore. It becomes harder for it to perform its usual duties. Going to work, taking care of the kids, looking after the husband, managing the whole household, and being emotionally present. And also being the buffer for the whole family. It's simply impossible to do all that if you're weak. But in reality, how should it be? In fact, a woman should start working on her muscles as early as possible from a young age. Because when people think of muscles, for some reason, they imagine bodybuilders with big muscles. But actually, those girls who just go to fitness classes like that, they have good muscle mass. It's just that nobody talks about it. And it's precisely that toned body that will look athletic and aesthetic. And that's exactly when a woman will have the strength to carry all those responsibilities that have been placed on her shoulders and still be in a good mood in the process. So essentially, for a woman, the only way out of this pit is to say, I come first, to put herself first and start taking care of her own strength, to become stronger. And this myth that men are stronger than women, with all the responsibilities and burdens that are now being piled onto women's shoulders, it's actually women who need to be stronger than men. Well, look, I mean she is becoming much stronger on all possible fronts, emotionally, mentally, doing significantly more work, and yet she is still consistently taking care of herself. So, that's what I highlighted in my 3-part video series. The most important mistakes and reasons. Why women think they're unfit and what holds them back. What factors prevent them from finally enjoying their lives, being happy with their bodies, and still clinging to that same idea of being unhappy.